All right, we're going to read another chapter of Junie B. Jones. All right, this one's called A Good Chuckle. The office is where the principal lives. I know my way there by heart. There was a typing lady there, too, and she looked over at the counter at me. Well, 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 would you look who it is, she said. And I looked down at myself. Well, 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 it kind of looks like me, I said, kind of quiet. The typing lady pointed at the blue chair. The blue chair is where the bad kids sit. Only, I'm not even that bad, but I still have to sit there sometimes. I put my feet on the edge of the chair and I hid my face in my knees. If you don't hide your face, people can recognize yourself. Finally, I peeked one eye at the principal's door, and guess what? That guy was looking right back at me. Is that Junie B. Jones I see out there? He asked. I did a gasp. 'Cause principal can recognize me even from one eyeball, apparently. I went into his office and I sat in the big wood chair. Principal winked at me. I'm a little surprised to see you, Junie B. He said. You haven't been sitting here in quite some time. I nodded. I know it, I said. That's because my behavior has shown considerable improvement. I pronounced the words perfectly. My teacher printed those words on my report card, I said. And guess what else showed improvement? My speaking. 'Cause I don't even say runned anymore, and I don't say thinked, and I don't say throwed. Did you know? Do you want to hear me say them right, huh? Do you, Principal? I took a big breath. Ran. Thought. Through, I said, and I smiled very proud. See, I told you. Mother says I'm getting a better vocabulary, I said. Vocabulary, I said. Vocabulary, said Principal. Whatever, I said. Principal smiled. Yes, well, I'm delighted with your improvements, Junie B., he said, but if everything has gotten better, then why are you here? I wiggled in my chair, very uncomfortable. Because it wasn't my fault, that's why, I said. What wasn't your fault? Said Principal. I wiggled some more. Then I finally told Principal about how my teacher made us write a graduation poem and that the last word had to rhyme with blue. And so Polly Allen Puffer rhymed it with P.U., I said. But then Mrs. got very mad at him because she did not appreciate his behavior, young man. Only too bad for me because then my brain thought of a sillier poem. My mouth couldn't hold it inside. Principal closed his eyes. He did some deep breaths. All right, he said. Let's hear it. I gulped. Then I made my voice real soft. Roses are red, violets are blue. Graduation is here and your feet smell like stink, I said. After that, Principal kept his eyes closed for a real long time and he did not say any words. Then, very slowly, he put his head on his desk and he started to laugh. His laughing got louder and louder, and so guess what? Then I started laughing too. That poem was a beaut, right, Principal? We're having ourselves a good chuckle over this, aren't we? Principal stopped laughing very fast, and he raised his head again. No, Junie B., no, we are not having a good chuckle, he said. I'm sorry, your poem caught me completely by surprise, but I never should have laughed like that. And he crossed his arms at me. You are right about one thing, though. Your poem was definitely silly. But silly things are not always appropriate to say in the classroom, are they? Your teacher made it clear that she didn't like what Polly Allen Puffer said, Junie B., and you called out your poem anyway. He made squinty eyes. And please don't blame it on your mouth, okay? You could have held it inside. I shrugged my shoulders. So there they are, giggling. I don't know, I said kind of quiet. Maybe I could have. Principal tapped his fingers on his desk. It's a very serious matter to disobey your teacher, Junie B., he said, and I don't want to sit here and think about how, and I want you to sit here and think about how serious it is. Can you do that, please? Yes, I said, I can. After that, I squeezed my eyes real tight, and I thought. Finally, I opened my eyes again. Good news, I said. I said my last stink. Principal nodded his head. That is good news, he said. Then he stood up and he held my hand and we walked me to the hall. It has been a very interesting year getting to know you, Junie B. Jones, he said. You are a fascinating little girl. Thank you, I said. You are fascinating, too. After that, both of us waved goodbye and I started skipping back to room 9. Then, all of a sudden, I stopped and I spun around. Yeah, only we're not saying goodbye forever. Right, Principal? Right? Because next year, I will get sent down here too, probably, or else maybe you and I will see each other on the playground, right? Principal did a chuckle. Right, I said. Hooray! I said, hooray, hooray! And then I turned back around and I skipped to room 9 my fastest. Because maybe if I hurried, I could still sprinkle glitter on something. Alright, the next chapter is called Cats and Gowns. And we will read that one tomorrow, and that will be the end of the week. Alright, guys. I am so happy to be reading this to you, and I will see you in the next video.